Who says this film is old? This film is absolutely phenomenal. Released in 1990, with a ticket price of just 3 cents. It achieved a single-day box office of 130 million yuan and an astonishing 430 million admissions, covering nearly 1/3 of the national population. It is considered by many as the greatest domestic film ever made. Jiao Yulu, starring Li Xuejian. When people hear the name Jiao Yulu, the first image that comes to mind is likely that of a plainly dressed, grassroots cadre from textbooks. But in reality, Jiao Yulu's life was extraordinarily legendary, filled with remarkable achievements. At 21, he was an escape artist, breaking free twice from the clutches of Japanese invaders. At 23, he joined the army, and within a year became a legendary scout in his unit. By 26, he was leading a county brigade of over 1,000 soldiers in combat. Even more impressive, at 27, Jiao Yulu, with just over a dozen militiamen, fought against hundreds of bandits. Relying on his exceptional physical endurance, he chased the bandit leader for 3 days and nights until he subdued him. However, Jiao Yulu wasn't just a fighter, he was also a super scholar. At 31, with only an elementary school education, he leveraged his incredible learning abilities during his spare time to eventually gain admission to Harbin Institute of Technology. He completed all his studies in just half a year. After graduation, he worked at the Luoyang Mining Machinery Factory, a leading enterprise in China's heavy industry at the time. The 2.5-meter hoist, a pinnacle of Chinese mechanical manufacturing created from scratch, was spearheaded by Jiao Yulu. This 118 behemoth served for 50 years and could still operate when powered on after being decommissioned. With such legendary life experiences, coupled with his talents in singing and dancing and his handsome appearance, Jiao Yulu seemed like a protagonist straight out of an exhilarating novel. Yet, at the peak of his life, he was transferred by a directive to one of China's poorest counties, Lankao County in Henan. In 1962, Lankao County was hit by severe natural disasters, and its ecological environment was in a desperate state. Grain yield per acre was only 43 jin. Cropland was devastated. 200,000 mu destroyed by wind and sand, 300,000 mu flooded, and 100,000 mu affected by saline alkali soil. Out of the county's 360,000 residents, 200,000 were disaster victims, some with nothing to eat, even resorted to picking wild goose droppings to fill their stomachs. Death from starvation was commonplace. Given such conditions, many cadres at the county level pleaded not to be sent to Lankao, and existing cadres sought every means to transfer out. Yet, Jiao Yulu accepted the daunting task and resolutely took up the post of second secretary of the Lankao County Party Committee, determined to help the people overcome the crisis. After assuming office, he would head to the villages early every morning to inspect conditions and return very late. However, Lankao faced not only natural disasters, but also bureaucratic corruption. Other cadres spent their days sitting in offices around stoves, grumbling. Secretary Jiao is quite capable, but we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since he arrived a few days ago. County party secretaries come and go like revolving doors. Might as well transfer us all out. Out of sight, out of mind. Jiao Yulu sat in the corner, listening with mixed emotions, but said nothing. Instead, he gathered all the cadres and took them directly to the train station to witness the scene of refugees fleeing. In the freezing snow, people huddled on the ground, clutching children in their arms, able to tell if they were alive or dead. The waiting hall was packed, everyone with their heads down, eyes vacant. The appearance of a group of cadres didn't even draw attention. On the platform, more refugees waited in batches. As the distant train whistle sounded, the lifeless crowd suddenly stirred, everyone using what little strength they had left to scramble into the train cars. Note, they were boarding freight trains, not passenger trains. These were trains meant for livestock and cargo. The cars had no windows or bathrooms. Those who couldn't squeeze in climbed onto the roofs. After everyone crowded onto the train, this vehicle, that promised escape from the despair of Lankao County, slowly departed. Its destination and whether hope lay ahead no one. As the train started, only scattered debris and a piece of steamed cornbread frozen as hard as stone remained on the platform. Witnessing the refugees flee, helplessly tore at Jiao Yulu's heart. He picked up the half-frozen bread and returned to the county committee, urging the cadres present to remember what they had just seen. These refugees are our elders, brothers, and fellow villagers. Flesh and blood. In this heavy snow, they leave their homes with their families. What must they be feeling? The party entrusted us with the 360,000 people of Lankao, yet we failed to lead them to defend, forcing them to beg with bowls in hand, wandering homeless. Aren't we ashamed and heartbroken? The masses are starving, freezing, cursing, but large quantities of state allocated relief supplies have been piled up at the station for 8 whole days, exposed to wind and snow, neglected. This is a crime, comrades. Why haven't they been delivered to the people? Who is responsible for this task? It was County Head Wu, as the first secretary of the county party committee, while everyone else went to the station. County Head Wu had feigned illness and gone home to rest. As deputy secretary, Jiao Yulu could do little about County Head Wu directly, but since County Head Wu was unwell, Jiao Yulu decided to overstep his authority and order the cadres to distribute the relief grain to the affected people the next day. Next, Jiao Yulu produced a small booklet, special supply book allowing cadres access to eggs, cooking oil, meat, and other privileged goods, while the masses suffered from cold and hunger. Cadres could exchange coupons for the best food without serving the people. Jiao Yulu immediately proposed abolishing these cadre privileges. After the meeting, Jiao Yulu found County Head Wu to apologize for acting on his own. Although County Head Wu didn't blame Jiao Yulu for overstepping, he showed no concern for the refugees or Lankao's 3 disasters: windsand, waterlogging, salinization land. Instead, he openly stated his position to suppress Jiao Yulu. The masses sometimes lack awareness and foresight, often only seeing immediate warmth and fullness, unable to see the long-term future. If basic food and clothing problems can't be solved, what future is there to talk about? Old Jiao, that's a dangerous statement. County Head Wu, distant from the people due to his high position, had recently discovered villagers fleeing and specifically established a dissuasion team to stop them, arguing that if everyone left, who would rebuild their hometown? Perhaps because these refugees insisted on leaving. Defying County Head Wu's efforts, the relief grain was left unattended at the station. He was protecting his own interests. County Head Wu found distributing relief grain troublesome and thankless. Now that Jiao Yulu wanted to take over, County Head Wu was more than happy to pass the burden, while reminding Jiao Yulu not to be misled by temporary appearances. Many cadres before had stumbled badly. The previous secretary Wang, after only 2 years in office, had his hair turned completely white and was left with a body full of illnesses from overwork. Hearing this, Jiao Yulu was unfazed. As a Communist Party member and a qualified cadre, wholeheartedly serving the people remained the fundamental principle. How could one retreat in the face of difficulties if we don't thoroughly address the disasters and improve people's lives, and if famine, begging, and deaths from starvation occur again? Both you and I will become sinners of history.
Whoa.
What do a few deaths from starvation matter? The key is, we individuals must not make political mistakes. At this point, Jiao Yulu realized County Head Wu was a self-serving opportunist. There was nothing more to say, and he left angry. With the Spring Festival approaching, the most urgent task was ensuring the people had food. Jiao Yulu and the cadres wasted no time, braving piercing cold winds to transport grain from the county town to every household day after day. Learning an elderly man was ill, Jiao Yulu took out 20 yuan from his own pocket. The old man was surprised and struggled to sit up, trying to see who this person was. I am your son. Chairman Mao sent me to see you. For a while, the people didn't know Jiao Yulu was the county party secretary. They only saw this approachable, middle-aged man visiting villages daily, always with a notebook and pen, recording every issue raised by the masses. Uncle Jiao, who raised cattle, even mistook him for a livestock trader. Uncle, I'm Jiao Yulu, working in the county. So, you're Secretary Jiao. I've heard of you. You really don't seem like a high official. Uncle Jiao warmly invited Jiao Yulu to stay for dinner. During their conversation, Uncle Jiao mentioned that Lankao's wind and sand could actually be controlled by planting paulownia trees. The investment cost was low, survival rate high, even in harsh environments, making it ideal for windbreak and sand fixation. There was an expert in paulownia cultivation in the county. Uncle Jiao suggested Jiao Yulu seek his help, although unsure if the method would work. Jiao Yulu trusted the wisdom of an old farmer with decades of experience. He took Uncle Jiao's advice and found a plainly dressed paulownia expert the next day. This person was the old director of the horticultural farm, a section-level cadre. Upon learning Jiao Yulu wanted to use paulownia to control Lankao's wind and sand, he agreed without hesitation and recommended a university graduate, Jiao Wei, who had just successfully experimented with a new paulownia seedling method. By spring, they could provide as many seedlings as needed. Finally, the plan to combat wind and sand took a step forward. The two went to Xiao Wei's residence, only to find a farewell note on the door. Xiao Wei said he was returning to his hometown in Wuxi because his fiancée, due to the long-distance work separation, threatened to break up. Additionally, he couldn't acclimatize, so he couldn't stay any longer. Upon learning this, Jiao Yulu rushed towards the train station, wanting to fight for one more chance for Lankao's people. He ran non-stop for about 7 or 8 kilometers, triggering a sudden attack of his liver disease. Enduring the pain, he reached the station. Fortunately, Xiao Wei was still waiting on the platform. Jiao Yulu quickly approached, though he desperately wanted Xiao Wei to stay. He feared hindering his bright future, so he simply said he came to see him off. Then, he took out a bag of sandy soil from his pocket. Xiao Wei, you're leaving in a hurry. I didn't have time to prepare. I just grabbed a handful of sandy soil from the paulownia nursery. First, consider it a small gift from me. Second, I hope you can continue to help us study this soil type. No matter where you go, don't forget there's a place called Lankao on the map. As a train whistled into the station, Xiao Wei ultimately chose to leave. Reluctantly, Jiao Yulu saw him onto the train. As the train slowly started, Jiao Yulu, who had been holding himself together, completely broke down. Staggering, he chased the carriage, unwillingly hoping that glimmer of hope might stay. But as he ran, the liver pain intensified. Clutching his abdomen, he could run no further, could only watch in despair as the train went further away. He stood there dazed for a long time before finally turning away. Dejectedly. Jiao Yulu saw Jiao Wei's figure. A stream of hot tears welled up in his eyes, precisely because Jiao Yulu, as a leader, didn't abuse his authority to morally pressure Jiao Wei, but instead humbly pleaded for help for Lankao's people with a bag of sandy soil. Jiao Wei felt respected and needed. With Xiao Wei as a strong supporter, Jiao Yulu began tackling wind and sand control, relying on a bicycle and his own legs. He traversed over 100 production brigades in Lankao County, mapping and numbering every wind corridor and sand dune. The long, arduous work left him emaciated, but his drive remained undiminished. Use windbreaks to lock it in. I won't agree until it's done. Continuous planting until it works. Fight the wind and sand. Use windbreak walls to desperately block this wind corridor. Jiao Yulu led by example, personally planting vast areas of paulownia trees in the wind corridors. The masses also shouldered shovels and joined in digging and planting trees. Inspired by Jiao Yulu's call, everyone participated in rebuilding their homeland. This was how a cadre should be. However, during this period, the old director, having tirelessly cultivated paulownia seedlings day and night to supply the front lines, finally collapsed from exhaustion and passed away forever. Watching the old director's body being wheeled out of the ward, Jiao Yulu stood helpless, his inner collapse sweeping over him like a flood. The first time he met the old director, he noticed his haggard face and swollen legs from long-term malnutrition. But the old director, not wanting to delay sand control work or distract Jiao Yulu, had comfortingly said, "Secretary Jiao, don't worry about me. I'm old already. I'll just be a foot soldier for you, the commander, advancing until I can go no further." Losing such a good comrade mate, Jiao Yulu realized a severe problem. Cadres also needed relief, especially those fighting on the front lines. Over 300 cadres suffered from edema, and 27 had already died from it. To prevent another tragedy like the old directors, Jiao Yulu held a meeting with 2 leaders. At the meeting, Jiao Yulu proposed purchasing a batch of higher-priced grain from a neighboring county to distribute to each grassroots cadre. Grain is under unified purchase and sale. There might be complications. Complications will always exist. I've thought about all this, but right now, rescuing cadres is urgent. Even if we individuals make some mistakes, it's worth it. I suggest that after obtaining the grain, none of the county party committee's main leading cadres, including standing committee members, should enjoy this subsidy. Do you agree? Good, I agree. Old Wu, your opinion. County head. Wu pretended not to hear and directly chose to flee by pretending to need the bathroom, because County Head Wu was no longer the first secretary. A few days prior, leaders from the higher organization held a meeting in the county and appointed Jiao Yulu as the head of the county party committee. County Head Wu was demoted to deputy secretary. This strong sense of defeat planted a seed of resentment in County Head Wu's heart. He had to find leverage to bring Jiao Yulu down. Jiao Yulu's private grain purchase, a serious violation of discipline, gave him the perfect opportunity. By not participating, he could stage a comeback. A few days later, a truckload of flour arrived at the county committee, with 2 more truckloads on the way. County Head Wu happened to pass by the county committee gate and saw the truck in the courtyard. The next day, someone filed a secret complaint. The remaining 2 truckloads of grain were seized. A special inspection team was sent down from the organization to investigate. County Head Wu eagerly went to greet them. Commissioner Zhao, you're here. Damn it. Commissioner Zhao. They worked themselves half to death, and there's always someone firing a dark arrow behind their backs. At the county committee meeting, Commissioner Zhao, holding a letter of accusation, was furious. Determined to get to the bottom of the private grain purchase, he ordered all informed cadres to truthfully report to the organization and await its decision. Then, Commissioner Zhao asked County Head Wu how much he knew about the matter. County Head Wu played dumb, absolving himself completely. I didn't know about this beforehand. I just heard about it. Bullshit. How dare you say you didn't know? Comrade Pan, sit down. What attitude is this? Let people speak. The sky won't fall. Old Wu, go on. I don't mind Comrade Pan's attitude. As the second secretary, I failed to discover and stop this matter in time. I should bear leadership responsibility. However, Comrade Jiao Yulu, as the first secretary, must even more so summarize lessons, deeply examine his errors from political, ideological, and worldview perspectives, and provide the organization with a proper explanation. County Head Wu wanted to see how Jiao Yulu would handle this. Unexpectedly, Jiao Yulu was forthright, taking full responsibility and accepting any organizational discipline. The meeting lasted late into the night. When it finally ended and everyone stepped out, they were instantly stunned by the scene before them. The people, having learned the organization intended to punish Secretary Jiao, had gathered en masse at the county committee. Comrades, do you have something to say? Commissioner Zhao, if you punish Secretary Jiao, all the people of our county will go to the provincial government, to the central committee, to Chairman Mao himself, to plead his innocence. You all want to plead his innocence? Yes, count me in too. When cadres are loved by the people support good officials. Everything Jiao Yulu did for the people was seen and remembered by them. Commissioner Zhao, as the higher-level investigator, chose to stand with the people, using his authority to speak up for Secretary. Zhao was also a rebuke against bureaucratic attitudes like County Head Wu's, which rigidly followed policy without regard for human lives. In the end, supported by the masses, Jiao Yulu received no punishment and continued tackling Lankao's natural disasters. However, after wind and sand came summer floods, Jiao Yulu led a flood control survey team, wading through fields to assess the water damage. They found corn in many villages submerged by heavy rain. If this continued, a year's harvest would be lost. The most effective way to control flooding was to dig drainage ditches, but without modern surveying equipment to measure elevation, the flow of water could only be discerned during heavy downpours. This meant the harder it rained, the more Jiao Yulu and his team rushed out. I say, dig a ditch here, straight to Guijia village. Water flows through Shaozhu River. Even more water can all be drained away. Good. Let's map the terrain. Find the lowest point for drainage. Secretary, it's not possible. The rain is too heavy now. We still need to see clearly to proceed. You guys show me. All right, I'll draw it. After sketching the drainage plan, Jiao Yulu hurried to the village committee to mobilize cadres to help dig the ditches. What act are you performing here? Secretary Jiao, in this storm, water everywhere, pitch dark. How did you get here? By boat. Boat. What boat? This very boat.
What?
Not welcome. Seeing Jiao Yulu, everyone sighed dejectedly, like beaten eggplants. Jiao Yulu asked what was wrong. The cadres began complaining, one after another, then burst into wails. Jiao Yulu was furious, slapping the table and standing up. What are you all? For heaven's sake, are you men or not? If cadres are useless, Water buffaloes will call the shots. The more difficult the time, the more cadres must boost their spirits. Step forward and set an example for the masses. Why are you all wilted first? What's wrong? Then what about the masses? Follow you, spreading their legs and crying. Comrades, show the mettle of communists. Let's show heaven. Under Jiao Yulu's leadership, cadres and villagers braved the storm to dig drainage channels in the past, for the common people to fill their bellies. The truth was like snatching food from a tiger's mouth. Jiao Yulu, soaked in rainwater all day, saw his liver condition worsen during the labor. Chase it out again. Let's try. Let's sing louder. We are like the sky, the same as the sky. The high sky has 100 miles above, ... double quotes. Jiao Yulu's body, plagued by severe illness, relied on an iron will to shine on Lankao's construction front lines. By 1 a.m., his wife, unable to wait any longer, sent her daughter to the county committee to see what was happening. The daughter brought a bowl of hot food and was about to knock on the office door when she saw her father slumped over the desk in obvious agony. Her father picked up a teacup lid and pressed it against his abdomen to alleviate the liver pain. What's wrong? Was feeling a bit unwell just now. It's past now. Dad, let's go home. Xiao Mei looked at her father's haggard face, her heart aching. Lankao's 360,000 people needed him, but Xiao Mei needed her father more, wishing he could stay healthy and accompany his family. Jiao Yulu finally went home with his daughter. His wife brought painkillers for him to take, but even then, the abdominal pain didn't subside. Suddenly, the door was knocked. The wife opened it to find Uncle Zhao's son, who said Uncle Zhao wanted to see Secretary Zhao and asked him to come to the village. Uncle Zhao was the one who raised many cattle and had invited Jiao Yulu for dinner. That afternoon, while feeding the cattle, Uncle Zhao had been gored in the thigh by a bullhorn. In his unconscious state, he kept calling for Secretary Zhao, as Jiao Yulu had become the people's spiritual pillar, as if calling his name could ease the pain. But a neighbor misunderstood, thinking Uncle Zhao simply wanted Secretary Zhao to visit. Is it okay to go invite Secretary Jiao over? Sure. Your dad and Secretary Zhao are close. Of course he'll come see him. Uncle Zhao's son listened to the neighbor. When Uncle Zhao regained consciousness and learned his son had done such a foolish thing, he was furious. What? You invited Secretary Zhao in this dark, rainy night. You invited Secretary Jiao to see me. You, this thoughtless child. Higui. Your Secretary Jiao wasn't home. He was lying in bed. You that formidable. You little. You're going to be the death of me. The Gui did it for your sake. Oh, Uncle Zhao, ... double quotes. Seeing Uncle Zhao so severely injured, Jiao Yulu called some villagers to take him to the hospital by cart. Jiao Yulu, enduring intense abdominal pain, held an umbrella for Uncle Zhao until his legs gave way and he collapsed. Good grief. Remember, put me down, Uncle. Even then, he got up and ensured Uncle Zhao reached the hospital. That night, County Head Wu wasn't idle either, having his driver take him to the hospital overnight. As Jiao Yulu gained increasing popularity and achieved results, County Head Wu, though resentful, could no longer compete and chose to avoid risk by feigning illness. But this hospital stay lasted half a month. Jiao Yulu specifically sought him out, saying that at this critical moment in combating the three disasters, continuing like this would raise questions among the masses and leadership. Originally intending goodwill, hoping County Head Wu would stop their rivalry and focus on work, Jiao Yulu instead triggered County Head Wu's full-blown resentment, burying your head in fighting the three disasters. Everywhere currying favor, as if you're the savior. Old Jiao. To put it bluntly, you have political ambitions. What? You think carefully. History will prove you wrong. These few simple sentences contain loaded implications. First, he maliciously misinterpreted Jiao Yulu's anti-disaster efforts as attempts to buy popularity and build personal prestige, indirectly warning Jiao Yulu that his actions were threatening County Head Wu's own position. Then, by labeling him with political ambitions, he warned Jiao Yulu that continuing to operate outside norms would lead to serious political consequences. County Head Wu likely intended this combination to pressure Jiao Yulu, but Jiao Yulu's conviction to serve the people never wavered. I believe history will make a fair evaluation of every person. Jiao Yulu responded directly. From then on, the two completely drew a line. Jiao Yulu continued tackling Lankao's third major disaster, salinization land. Passing through Zheng village, he saw a farmer's ancestral grave exposed by wind, revealing the coffin. The old man had dug 1 meter deep, turned up older soil from below to cover the grave mound, and it was never scattered by wind again. Jiao Yulu thought this method promising, but as one by one, methods to combat the 3 disasters began to show effect. Jiao Yulu's liver disease had deteriorated beyond recovery. "It's nothing," this thing said. The people learned Jiao Yulu was ill and needed hospital treatment in the provincial capital. On the day of his departure, all the people came to the county town. "You must take good care of yourself. My auntie, I thank you." The people, reluctant to let him go, all wanted to shake Secretary Jiao's hand, urging him to protect his health. Some brought baskets of eggs, others brought a chicken, wanting to give them to Secretary Jiao for nourishment. The farewell crowd stretched for miles along the streets, step by step seeing Secretary Jiao to the train station. By March 1964, after working in Lankao for 1 year and 3 months, Jiao Yulu had used his own backbone to prop up a living space for Lankao's people, thoroughly addressing the natural disasters that had plagued Lankao like malignant tumors, while completely exhausting his own life. Eventually, he was diagnosed with advanced liver cancer. News spread back to Lankao, and the people rushed to the gates of the Genjo hospital, standing in the heavy rain, praying and hoping for a miracle. On May 14, 1964, in the early hours, Jiao Yulu passed away at Genjo Hospital. His final wish was that his body be returned to Lankao and buried on the hills of the old Yellow River course, so he could watch his comrades complete his unfinished work. When his remains were returned to Lankao, hundreds of thousands of people mourned in sackcloth, all wanting to properly see Secretary Jiao off, as the coffin was about to be buried. Many, sobbing uncontrollably, even jumped into the grave pit, clinging, unwilling to let him be buried, wanting to properly bid farewell to that good secretary. The announcer broadcasting the news choked up several times. "You outstandingly completed the task the party entrusted to you. Truly a good cadre of the party, truly a son of the people. The people will never forget you. The people will never forget you. The more difficult the time, the more cadres must boost their spirits. Step forward, set an example for the masses. Comrades, show the mettle of communists. Let's show heaven. 哟吼嘿！